used.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Pete.
And guys, this week we are talking about the true successor to Batman. So, for those of you that don't know, Batman has had a couple Robins. Batman has had Batman Beyond. He's had everybody. Yeah, I mean, a couple is an understatement, to say the least. But he's had a couple successors. He's had some people that he has considered his greatest successor, being Dick Grayson. So we're going to talk about who is the best new Batman. All right, Mark, let's hear what you got.
So for me personally, the true Batman successor, you can argue Terry McGinnis, but for me it's fucking Dick Grayson. He goes to Bloodhaven. He becomes his own fucking hero. And for me, like, he just picks up everything. He learns from Batman. Everyone argues that Dick Grayson was Batman's true son, even though, yes, he has Damian, but to me, Dick Grayson, like, he goes to Bloodhaven, he becomes Nightwing, and after he becomes Nightwing, he's got the dual batons with the electrical ends. And for me, personally, just, he picks up right where Batman left off. I mean, if you're looking for a successor, you're not looking for a copycat, but you're looking for someone who adapts and becomes something new. And for me, that was Dick Grayson.
All right, so Pete, I want to hear what you have to say about Batman's successor. We've got Mark, who's got Dick Grayson. Who do you got?
Terry McGinnis. And this is why. Bruce Wayne, he took him under his wing, literally and figuratively, and turned him into a new Batman for the new age. Okay? He started battling enemies, but in his own way. Not the same way as Batman, but he actually killed people, unlike Batman. Alright? Like, he still carried the same spirit as Batman, which is protecting the people that could not be protected.
Okay, and I respect that. My choice for this is going to have to be... No, fuck you, first of all. My choice is going to be Damian Wayne, and here's why. Damian Wayne is not only the son of the Bat, he is also the heir to the throne behind Ra's al Ghul. So, he trained with Talia, he trained with Ra's, he trained with Batman. So he has all facets of, the League of Assassins. He has, the cunning of Batman. He has the detective side of Batman. But he also he takes that Terry McGinnis side, and he wants to murder people. I hate to say it, in the episode where he sort of falls under the Owls and, their whole, secret society behind Gotham. I think that was huge because it shows that he is similar to Batman but different enough that he's willing to kill the bad guy in order to stop him from being the bad guy.
Now, see, I agree with you in the fact that Damian Wayne has always been a predecessor to Ra's al Ghul. Now, I don't consider him a Bruce Wayne predecessor. I consider him a Ra's al Ghul predecessor.
Okay, and I respect that. However, my only flip side to that is, while he is technically the heir to the throne, the head of the demon, he also wants to do what's right. He is still a Robin, which means in his own right, he is going to end up in the seat of Batman, just like Dick Grayson did.
But Terry McGinnis did the same thing.
Correct, but Terry McGinnis did...
Terry McGinnis is a bitch.
He was Batman.
How was he a bitch?
He was Batman Beyond. I'm not saying he's better or worse. Correct. He did differently.
I'm not arguing that.
But I think that Damian Wayne, just due to his upbringing alone, is going to be the better Batman. I'm not saying Terry McGinnis is going to be a good Batman. It's just that Damian Wayne's going to be a better Batman because he trained directly under Bruce Wayne.
He did the same thing with Bruce Wayne and, Terry McGinnis. Every time, Terry went out for a fucking mission... Excuse my language, by the way, guys.
No. We're TVMA.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Or Radio MA.
Guest appearance, okay. But, Bruce Wayne was in Terry's ear the whole time for any mission that he had. And he was telling him what to do, how to do it, and where to do it.
Okay, so my question to you is, who should old Batman be, then, if they were to cast it live action?
See, everybody says Michael Keaton, but at the same time, I love Michael Keaton's Batman. I do. But I don't know if he's the right fit, personally. I would love to see a live action. Granted, we got in the fucking Arrowverse. We got Kevin Conroy finally as a live-action Batman. Granted, he had the mecha suit, and that could only help him walk because he paralyzed himself. Which I call bullshit on. But I would love to see a Kevin Conroy live-action with, I don't even know who I'd want to play Terry.
So you could go a couple different ways. Now, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be a solid choice. I know he played, and we're going to, in quotes, Robin, because that was his real fucking first name.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I don't agree with that because that's never been Robin's backstory. Let's start there.
Look, I just want to say, for the record, for the next episode, Robin versus Batman Beyond.
Well, depending on
which Robin.
Yeah, depending on the Robin.
Terry McGinnis, come on.
No, fuck Terry
But
McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis
No,
was never
fuck-
a Robin.
No,
No, he wasn't. He was never a Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
That-
Batman
so-
Beyond versus I'm sorry. Excuse
No,
me.
Terry McGinnis was never a Robin. Robin
Yes,
started
exactly.
with Dick Grayson. Then
But
it
Batman
went from
Beyond
Dick Grayson
versus
to
Modern Robin. There
what's
we
his
go.
face? Red Hood. Jason Todd.
Jason Todd,
Then went from Jason Todd to
Tim
Drake.
Tim Drake,
Went
and
Went
then
from Tim Drake to Barbara Gordon. From Barbara Gordon to Damian Wayne. From Damian Wayne to there was one more after Damian, I believe.
okay, but even still, like I'm going just up to Damian Wayne, and like that's the most recent I'm willing to go because that's the deepest I understand.
Right.
The Batman trilogy too. But like you take that Damian Wayne character, and I think just because of his actual being the son of Batman,
Legit.
would cause him to be the best predecessor. So Batman cares more about him than he cared about anyone else because it's actually his fucking kid. But he also wants him to break that sort of, he wants to break the cycle of, we're going to be exactly like you. He wants him to be different. Now, obviously, Dick Grayson went off, did his own thing. DC Titans made him, a fucking detective out in Chicago, which is fucking awesome. I love that show. It's coming back in like 2 weeks. That's great. I'm ready for that. But I think, you get the Jason Todd Red Hood. That's a little bit different because he's murderous because of the Lazarus Pit. It drives things differently. Barbara Gordon, she has a completely different mindset than Batman. She has a completely different mindset than Commissioner Gordon. So she falls sort of in between. She wants the best for everybody, but she doesn't want to hurt anybody. Batman's like, fuck it. Kill everybody, but don't actually kill them. Right. So that's where you have Damian Wayne. He is the happy middle where he says, I'm willing to kill if it's necessary, but I don't want to kill if it's unnecessary. And I believe that is the next predecessor to Batman. Properly, at least. Again, not canon, but
Right.
I think he would be the next legitimate predecessor.
All right,
See-
can we all agree that the predecessor or the evolution of Batman would eventually be Batman Beyond, or is that
So
completely-
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying
not
Batman
disagreeing with
Batman
that
Beyond was necessary in order to realize what Batman wanted and didn't want.
or at least the future?
To me, though, if you look at all the other Robins, they stay Robins other than Dick Grayson.
Correct.
Barbara Gordon stays a Batgirl. Damian Wayne stays a Robin. Tim Drake stays a Robin. Jason Todd dies a Robin. Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. He goes to Bloodhaven and does his own thing. So to me, when I think of a predecessor, like Batman wouldn't want another Batman. He would want somebody in his place, which becomes Nightwing, which is what Dick Grayson becomes. I'm not going to sit there and knock, though, the other Robins. They are Robins, but they never advance from there. Barbara Gordon gets shot by Joker. She gets paralyzed, and she becomes, starts with an O.
Overwatch?
Overwatch. She becomes Overwatch when she gets paralyzed. So she becomes kind of like the the Felicity Smoke of the Arrowverse. She becomes the same kind of type character. You have Tim Drake, who, yes, in Batman Beyond, he becomes the Joker because he has that Joan implanted in her cerebral, to where he becomes like a copycat of the Joker, but he's not actually a Joker.
But we get Tim Drake in this season of DC's Titans, which is
Right.
awesome because now we're getting introduced to the Joker because obviously they have to kill Jason Todd. He's going to become the Red Hood.
Yeah.
We're getting introduced to the entire Joker verse, I
Really
guess would be
quick,
the easiest way to say it.
Can we just talk about how childish his fucking helmet looks as Red Hood?
So it's very much a Red Hood Iron Man crossover. I don't like the mouth. I think if they took that
It
away,
looks like a child fucking drew it.
yes. So and I'm not knocking
It looks
anybody
horrible.
from Titans.
I am. It looks fucking horrible.
No, you know what though? I give them credit
You
for
can do
doing
a
their own
lot better
thing.
than that
Okay,
live
You're
action
correct.
version.
Before we spin off on that, I just remember, and it's been a while since, like, you know, I watched every single episode of Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond actually did verse Robin, and they came to an agreement that he was supposed to be the predecessor to both.
But which
Right.
Robin?
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
Well,
Okay.
they go to
Yes.
Tim Drake because Tim Drake eventually becomes the Joker in the Batman Beyond series,
Yes.
and then they write
Yes.
it off as he got fucking. He had the input in the back of his neck, which turned him into the new Joker, because Joker embedded a little bit of his DNA into it.
Yeah.
But then at the end he dies, so by the complete end of it, you then have Batman Bad Blood, I believe it is, where he fights against Damian.
Yes.
Is it Bad Blood?
Yeah, it is Bad Blood.
Right. So where Damian's like, yo, look, here's what Talia taught me. She's my mother. I'm going to back her. And Batman's like, no, that's not the way. So he's trying to face the Ra's al Ghul and Talia way to where Batman's trying to pull him full side and like, no, like, here's what we're actually going to do. And then in the long run, you know, Damian backs him. Like, I love Damian as a Robin, but I don't see him as a full predecessor to Bruce.
I completely agree with that. So
That's why, like, I believe Batman Beyond is the predecessor.
the only reason I say no is because I feel like the predecessor has to be a Robin because Batman took him, like, I mean, for lack of better words, under his wing.
I
We're
love-
gonna
Or
fucking
maybe,
do-
like, as a successor, but I still believe Batman Beyond is the future because he adapts to survive. Like, he could not use the same tactics that Batman used to be as successful as
I mean, you could
as
argue
Batman
he-
Beyond.
You
did.
could argue he could because at that point, I mean, you see
No,
in the
because of the technology and all.
Yes, but in the Batman Beyond series, you see that Harley Quinn is older and she has the new daughter, like her daughters are part of the new crew. You see that Bane is literally just a shriveled old man of himself in the fucking.
But he's still able, like, he would still, like, take on Batman.
I don't think
easily.
he would. Not at that point. No.
No, but Batman Beyond
like-
still kicked his ass. Like
Right,
I
but
said.
that's what I'm saying though. Is when
But,
you
like,
come
the
to
old
Batman,
Batman
Beyond,
couldn't.
like Tim Drake was the new Joker, and they had that whole storyline. You had Bane becomes an older version of himself. Harley Quinn's an older version of herself. Like all the villains that were then
Either
are not the same.
adapted
And
to
Terry,
become very
Terry
old.
jacks up himself at times. Like
Yeah,
there's
because
a
Terry
lot of-
adapts to himself.
Terry's
with
a great
Batman.
Batman, but I don't see him as the true predecessor.
And again,
I
so
think you mean successor, not predecessor.
well,
right?
but
Correct. I'm sorry, successor.
so
You are correct.
now I agree with you that Dick Grayson did his own thing. He stepped out of the limelight. He didn't want to be Robin anymore. He did his own thing. He spun off and became Nightwing, which is awesome. Nightwing is one of my favorite DC characters.
Which is completely different than Batman.
Correct. However, that's why I said Damian Wayne is his true predecessor because he not only trained under Batman, but he becomes, you know, the head of the dragon. He is the predecessor to Ra's al Ghul as well, which was supposed to be Bruce Wayne, but Bruce Wayne turned it down because he didn't believe in the same ethics that they had in the League of Assassins. So Damian Wayne is the best of both worlds. He is the head of the dragon. He is the predecessor to the League of Assassins, and he is also trained under Batman, so he knows what Batman's weaknesses are. He knows what Batman's strengths are. And then he knows all of the fucking secrets of the League of Assassins. So, again, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm saying, per my beliefs, it is Damian Wayne, because he has to be the person that has the best of both worlds. He is the person that has restraint, but he is the person that needs to kill when it needs to be done, and Batman can't do that, which is why Joker has plagued him for fucking eternity. For fuck's sake, he killed Jason Todd and wanted to take pictures with the goddamn crowbar. Let's start there. Like, I'm sorry.
You're not wrong.
If you killed my fucking predecessor and you wanted to take pictures with the murder weapon, I'm probably going to kill you in the process, and I think Damian Wayne would do that.
Now,
I still think Terry McGinnis would, too.
But at the same time, Terry McGinnis sort of did his own thing. I'm not saying Terry McGinnis is wrong, but he was never in that like official Robin role to learn from Batman. So he's doing his own vigilante justice, which is separate and different, but
with
similar.
But Bruce Wayne was always in his ear though.
And that's fine. But same with Barbara Gordon. But Barbara Gordon was very much, she was restrained because of that. Damian is his own child who, as he's growing up into his, late, adolescent and early teenage years, is becoming rebellious and he wants to do his own thing. That's not to say he's not going to become a similar Batman in the long run. But in the beginning, you see him sort of break off, do his own thing. He takes off a different fucking,
Path.
Yeah, he takes a different path. He goes under what the fuck are they called? The Owls.
The Court of Owls.
Court of Owls. So he goes under them, who are willing to kill to get what's necessary done.
Right.
And I don't believe that's necessarily wrong, but he does his own shit. And I can respect that.
Dick Grayson, because for me, Dick Grayson, like, he becomes an entirely new hero. He becomes Nightwing. He's not a Robin. He's an advanced version of a Robin. Granted, he was Robin originally. But he moves on to become Nightwing in Bloodhaven. He doesn't even stay in Gotham. He fucking leaves Gotham. He says, Bruce, I can't do this under you anymore. I want to go do my own thing. And now, granted, right, I agree with you. I do think that Terry McGinnis is the new Batman. But when I look at a predecessor, I'm not looking for a copy of what we already have. I'm looking at something new. And that's where you get Nightwing. Nightwing is not Batman. He is something new. And to where Batman Beyond, he has his screw-ups and he has his mess-up. But like you said, Pete, he's got Bruce in his ear the entire time. And I'm not arguing that at all. But to me, I personally think that if you're looking at a true predecessor to Batman and what Batman wanted, I mean, you can see in all the comic book cartoons, in the comic books itself, he cares the most about Dick Grayson. Even though...
Yes, I agree with that.
Even though, what's his face, Damian is his actual son, he cares more about Dick than Damian.
It's because Dick was
So
his
are you
first
telling me-
predecessor. No, Dick was his first Robin. So that was his first unofficial child, which I can totally back. But when he found out Damian was his actual kid, that changed things different. It wasn't drastically changed, but he looked at things differently. Like, he didn't want Damian to go out there and kind of do his own thing because he's seen what happened to Dick. He saw what happened to Jason Todd. I mean, for fuck's sake, he was dead.
Oh, he was haunted by Jason.
So,
Todd's
like,
death.
that fucked him up. So he didn't want Damian to become his genuine predecessor, but he wanted him to have enough knowledge and tactic to defend himself, to stop himself from dying. So he gave him a little bit of extra. And then again, Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, you were the heir to the head of the demon.
Right.
So congratulations, you were going to be the most fucking tactical 12-year-old on the fucking planet. Like, I'm sorry, the dude's a
That's the
bad
way I look at
motherfucker.
it.
Like, he's
That's
a
the way I
bad
look
dude.
at Damian. Damian is the new head of the demon, not the new Batman.
But he could technically be both. So again, I believe he's the best predecessor to Batman, but he is also the best predecessor to the head of the demon. So he can't be both.
So we all say
It's not. Shut the fuck up. It's not Terry.
It's not Terry at all.
No. But we all can agree that like the successor to Batman is Terry.
No, we just said that. No, fuck you.
No.
Here's my
He
question to you.
evolves to it.
No, ready?
I'm sorry. Hold on. And one other thing though I have to say is, do you have to be a Robin in order to succeed?
Not at all.
Batman.
You don't have to be a Robin.
because-
Then it's fucking Terry.
No, because technically,
No!
ready? Because technically, what's his name? Azrael becomes the new Batman in certain storylines, and he was never Robin. But here's my question to you, Pete. So, without Batman, do you think Terry would be as good as he is? Without Batman in his
Time
ear,
out. Without Batman, would Terry be Batman? Beyond. No. So he's not the predecessor. Without Batman, there is no Robin.
You
Now,
can make-
understandably
well,
so,
you can make arguments
No, because,
that
like-
Terry, I mean, you
because,
can
like,
make
Bruce-
arguments that
No, because Bruce Wayne mentored and coached Terry to
Correct.
be who he was. Because
But
if you
without
looked at the
Bruce-
first episodes of Batman Beyond, he was really sloppy, and we could even say shitty.
The entire series of
Yes,
Batman Beyond.
but
he was
as
sloppy.
he matured, he got better at
Meh.
it.
But so did every
did.
Robin.
Define better.
So
He went from like
more
a D to a
efficient.
C.
no, we'll use Dick
Okay,
Grayson.
that's still efficient.
We'll use Dick Grayson as a perfect example.
No, not at all.
Dick Grayson went from a shitty Robin, who was no.
He
in-
evolved.
in-
He
in-
started
Grayson
as
was
a
the
Robin.
best Robin.
No, 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 no.
Terry
In the
McGinnis
beginning,
started as a
everyone was
Batman.
everyone was a shitty Robin in the beginning. No one was a
Except
good Robin.
for Terry.
No, fuck you. He was never a Robin.
Terry was
Yeah,
never
he
a Robin.
started off as a Batman.
No,
He started
correct.
off
Done and
Batman,
Dunner.
not
Different,
as a Robin.
different. But
How's that different?
everyone started off as a shitty Robin. Dick Grayson became the best of the Robins.
See, honestly, I would say Jason Todd became the best of the Robins, other than his impulsiveness.
So, again,
He didn't have the
now
impulsiveness.
are we going
Jason
based off the
Todd.
comics or based off of like the animated movies or
I mean,
the
animated
DC
movies
Titans?
are based off of the comics. I base it off the comics, but for me, in the comics, Jason Todd, minus his impulsiveness, would have been the best Robin.
So, Jason Todd, if he had trained properly, would be the best Robin. Now, Dick Grayson, because he was well trained, decided to do his own thing. I believe that Dick Grayson sort of had his own. I don't. Je ne sais quoi would be the best word or the best phrase to use. Like, he did his own shit. Jason Todd, given him time, if he wasn't murdered by the Joker, could have been the best Robin.
I believe that.
But again, like I agree with you, 100%. Impulsiveness aside, would have been awesome. Now, if we're just gonna go based off of comics and Titans, in Titans, he's riding a fucking motorcycle through the goddamn house because he can, because no one's there to check him.
Right.
So we'll take all of that into account. And again, I'm still standing on my soapbox saying Damian's the best predecessor, but again, he has the head of the demon to back him, whereas Dick Grayson and Jason Todd never had that. They didn't have that structure, that sort of built up, I already have a fucking life plan ahead of me. Talia was like from fucking birth. He is going to be the next predecessor to the head of the demon. I'm going to let you train him. You're going to do your own thing. Because Batman isn't just the League of Assassins. He is much more than that. He's 115 different types of fucking martial arts, which is awesome. But take that account, aside, Jason Todd, given the time, not murdered by the Joker, probably would have been the best Robin overall. I don't know if he would have been the best predecessor to Batman, because he was very impulsive.
Now, for me personally, I agree with you 100%, but it's something that you just said. For me, the fact that Dick Grayson would have had the perfect upbringing, like, Damian Wayne was groomed to be the head of the demon, not the next Batman. Batman was like, Talia, you can fuck all the way off, and this is what we're doing with our son. And she was like, yo, bitch, no, that ain't what happened. And he said, haha, funny story, this is what's happening. So, for me, I think Dick Grayson, that's why I feel like Dick Grayson was the best culmination of what Batman wanted to come out of his legacy.
And I guess I gotta disagree to that. I believe that, like, what Terry McGinnis with Bruce Wayne, old Bruce Wayne with all his wisdom in his ear, was the best culmination of the new Batman to lead into the future.
So I agree. He had Batman in his ear. However, at that point, Batman was fucking far well and gone. So we are talking somewhere between OG Batman, like the fucking animated series Batman, and Batman Beyond. That's where we find our fucking best predecessor. Correct? So, correct me if I'm wrong, we have Dick Grayson, who's a bad motherfucker, becomes his own person. Now, I think that's what Batman wanted. He didn't want a direct copy of himself.
Correct.
Okay.
Terry McGinnis was not that.
None of them were. Barbara.
None of
It
them.
was just an adaptation of that.
But I think that he wanted someone that was still willing to do the right thing. So while I say Damian Wayne, he's willing to kill people, in my personal opinion, I think if Batman had just killed the Joker fucking day one, week one, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have a Batman either.
We would.
We would
we would, because so many. So the Joker
Yin
movie.
yang
Hold
with
on.
the yang.
Shut the
If
fuck
it
up.
started with Damian,
No.
we would
No,
have
no.
a new head of the demon, not a new Batman.
Okay, and I respect that. However, they wanted Batman to be the head of the demon, so I think it would be different.
They wanted a couple of people.
Batman would destroy himself or just like cease to exist without like.
So that
Someone
being said, I'm not saying
like-
Batman is
like
Batman without the
Joker.
Joker. However, Batman let Joker live long enough to kill Jason Todd, and which he lives with for the rest of his fucking life until he fucking starts mentoring Terry.
Correct.
So he is so much more protective over Terry and more protective over fucking everyone
over
else.
a father
Tim Drake.
figure.
No, not even a father figure. He is trying to fucking shield them. So he's not giving them the same freedoms that he gives to fucking Jason Todd or fucking Damian Wayne.
He only gave freedoms to Jason Todd and fucking who was I fighting for?
He gave us wow.
Nightwing.
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson,
Come
Nightwing.
on.
Yes, because
man.
because after fucking not Damien, after fucking Jason Todd dies, Barbara Gordon he babies, fucking Tim Drake he babies, Damien even he babies.
What about Terry? You're telling me he doesn't baby Terry?
He
Yes,
doesn't
he
give
does.
a fuck about Terry. He's 90 years old
What?
and about to die at that
No,
point.
he babies Terry because like no.
So
when
that's
he
why he
steals-
doesn't. That's
he
why Terry can't be a
babies them.
When
predecessor.
he
babies
steals
Terry,
his
but-
first like suit in Batman Beyond,
That's
he
the
was
thing.
electrocuting him, and he could have killed him right then and there, and he
So,
decided not
That's
to.
why I said no. So that is my fight for Damian Wayne. While Batman may baby him, Talia and Ra's al Ghul
Don't.
they do not. They beat the brakes off of him.
Oh.
So
Terry got
Rachel
the
Gold's
brakes
like,
off
yo,
of him,
I will
too.
dip myself in the ladder for another 300 years until you're not bitch anymore.
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna
Like-
fuck you. He's like, I'm gonna fuck your. I'm gonna
Like,
teach you
he's like,
what your
"You're
dad
12?"
didn't teach you. I'm gonna fuck you up. You should have learned this at 9.
He's like, when
you
you were,
bitch.
when I was 12, I was a fucking king of fucking 9 countries.
I've killed 1,300
Yeah,
people. Fuck you.
like-
What are you doing with your life? You mean you went to the Council of Owls, you pussy motherfucker? Like that's his view of shit, and that's fine.
But fucking Assassin's League is fuck around and find out to the max.
But yes, I agree with that. So like again, Dick Grayson may have been the best overall, but I think Damian Wayne would have been a solid fucking predecessor for him because he was trained by not only League of Assassins but Batman. So again, I see your side where you're saying he would have been a good head of the demon.
Right.
Well, so now time out.
Hold
Would
on,
you
I got something
agree
else, though.
that while if Nightwing took over the mantle of Batman,
Okay.
that a solid sidekick, even as a separate but different, we're not going to call him Batman, but a similar Batman, would have been Damian Wayne.
I'm not.
They
gonna
would have
argue
worked
that.
together.
Let's put it this way: literally in Batman, I think it was the animated series Batman: Bad Blood. Like Batman disappears, Dick Grayson becomes Batman, and Damian becomes Robin, and they fucking bicker.
Yeah.
All through the entire movie, they're fucking at each other's throats.
And that's okay.
And I'm not arguing that with you. Like, for me personally, Damian Wayne is a new head of the demon, not a new Batman. To where Dick Grayson was a new Batman, not a new head of the demon.
So you
So
think Dick Grayson took over like is better than Terry? Basically, is what
yeah,
you're telling me.
well, first
I
of all,
mean-
everyone's better than Terry.
Oh, come on. No.
Barbara
No,
Gordon's
no.
better. Barbara Gordon is better than Terry. Shut the fuck up.
Look, even if Terry sucks,
Barbara Gordon
the
got fucking
technology and
paralyzed.
fucking like Batman Beyond is so much better.
Barbara Gordon got paralyzed.
My-
And she's better than Terry.
My left leg is better than Terry. All right, so
I can't go that far.
No,
All right.
no, hold on. Spin move 2.
Spin move.
Next episode. Batman Beyond or Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
Dick
Okay. versus Iron Man. Who
That's
is
not
better?
even fair. Iron Man's
How
gonna
is that
whoop
better?
When
ass.
has Iron Man ever been Batman?
Iron Man.
Iron Man's more of a Batman, but with the fucking sweet ass suit that can fly.
Let's put it this way.
Sorry, Batman Beyond can fly too.
Yeah,
If
Batman
we're gonna
Beyond's gonna
rank
get his
the
ass beat
Robins-
by Iron Man.
Get out
If
of
we're
here.
going
no way.
to rank the Robins, I go Jason Todd number 1. I go Dick Grayson number 2.
Damian
I
Wayne
go
better be
Damien
3.
number
Thank you.
3. I go Terry number 4.
Terry was
Barbara
never
number
a
5.
Robin.
Terry was
No.
never a Robin, but Barbara Gordon sucked ass. Let's start there.
Let's be honest.
No.
Terry's a
come on, man.
Robin.
Terry is basically a Robin without the title of Robin. He's
There
a
was
bitch.
no Robin that existed. He just took over from where Batman
He
left
stole
off.
Batman's suit.
Yes,
Correct.
Just because I steal shit. I could go
But
steal
Batman
Donald
let
Trump's
him
plane.
have
That doesn't
it.
mean I'm Donald Trump Jr.
No, but Batman let him have it at the end. He was electrocuting him.
Yeah, he
and
let
he
him
decided,
have it,
you know
but he
what?
still
I'm going to let you
fucking
have it because I
stole
feel
it.
bad for
But you know what? All things considered, I agree with Mark. So if you take
Wow, you're right. to
Batman
your wrong
chose
opinion then.
Dick Grayson. Batman chose Jason Todd. Batman chose Barbara Gordon. He did not choose Terry McGinnis.
Yes,
Terry
he
McGinnis,
did because he could have
No, he
electrocuted
didn't.
his
No,
ass.
Terry
McGinnis
McGinnis
chose-
did his own shit.
Terry McGinnis broke
He
into
was
the
in
fucking
his ear
Batcave.
the whole fucking time.
Dude, he broke into the Batcave and stole the suit.
Yes, and Bruce Wayne could have electrocuted him until he was dead, but he
He could
decided
have. Bruce Wayne's not a
exactly
murderer.
he could
Not
have,
since the 60s.
but instead
No.
he decided to mentor him into the new.
If it
age
was Jason Todd that took
Batman.
over, he'd been fucking dead right then and there.
Bro.
If it was Jason Todd or Damian Wayne, his ass would have been dead. Tim
But he
Drake,
wasn't.
Barbara Gordon,
He
and
wasn't a
fucking Dick
crispy
Grayson are
critter.
pussies. Fuck them.
He wasn't a crispy critter.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that
He wasn't a
means.
crispy critter.
I don't know what that means.
He wasn't a crispy critter. Bro,
What does that mean?
this might be one of my favorite episodes. He wasn't a crispy critter. Fuck Squirrel Girl.
Wait,
We got fucking
Squirrel Girl.
Terry McGinnis.
You crispy critter, you.
Dumb
Terry
bitch.
McGinnis, you crispy ass critter.
Terry McGinnis, you dumb bitch. You're a crispy critter.
Wait, Terry McGinnis versus Squirrel Girl.
Fuck Robin.
The battle of the crispy critters. I'll get. All right, so
as we're finishing up here, Terry McGinnis is not a crispy critter.
the Squirrel Girl might be. But we still have to look into the verification of crispy critters.
DVD.
Hashtag not COVID.
Hashtag I promise it's not
Oh
a
my
variant.
God.
We're not variants. The TVA is taking care of us. I
Yeah.
promise.
All right, so
With an echo dome.
coming out of Speed Force, I'm gonna sit here and argue to the bone that I think Dick Grayson was the Batman replacement, and he's not a crispy critter.
Still with Terry McGinnis, and guess what? He survived being a crispy critter.
And I'm going to take Damian Wayne, guys. Overall, thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, on iHeartRadio. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Something Super Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at SS Podcast 52. As always, guys, I'm Steve.
Mark.
I'm Pete.
And thanks, guys, for listening. We'll catch you guys next week.